So, are you ready for 20 more questions? Of course you are. This is question and answer 49. I can't believe y'all have this many questions, but I am glad that you do. Let's cover them. Are you ever too old to fall in love? I would say, are you ever too stupid to fall in love? You know, love makes you stupid. Cupid is stupid. Okay? And you do stupid things when you fall in love that you wouldn't do if you weren't in love. Think about that. I mean, I keep coming back to my friends who are in turmoil right now because one went to something he wanted to go to last night. Meanwhile, she bought tickets to go to a concert. Easton Corbin was in Springfield. That's what she bought. She had reservations at a restaurant. Okay? She did not clear it with him first. So who's really wrong here? And it was their 1-year anniversary of dating. And of course, she's upset because Friday was usually their date night. She just took it for granted. And she just thought, okay, you know what? We'll go to the concert. That's what we're going to do. So she then informed him, it was 2 nights before the concert, hey, you know what? I got these concert tickets. We're going to go up there. He already had plans for that Friday night. Now, mind you, they've been dating for a year. Okay? So, you tell me. Some people would say, well, love can happen at any age, you know. Okay. But, does it make you stupid? Do you forget your own life? Does 2 lives become 1? I have all these questions now because, you know, it's so funny. From each time that I have fallen in love or been stupid, you just go, okay, it was a blonde moment. At least that's what I'm starting to do now. It was a blonde moment. I was having a blonde moment. Totally forgotten. So, I mean, it seems to work. It's better than, I must have been hit with a cast iron skillet. Or, you know, I must have amnesia. It was a blonde moment. Plain and simple. Should couples have prenuptial agreements? Absolutely. And I'm going to tell you why. Because in today's world, we got people who have not only been married once, but maybe twice. Heck, maybe 3 times. More, maybe 4 or more. You know what? You're going to have kids from those relationships, and they're all going to be like, well, I want this and this and this. But then you're going to say, I've been, married to your dad or mom for this long, and therefore I have this right. Don't let an argument happen like that after you're gone, because then it's going to be, it divides a family. It really does. Think about it. Because that kid then is going to think, oh, I didn't get this, and I don't like her because I didn't get this. And then you're like going, if they're looking down from above up there, I'm sure they're rolling their eyes, going, you greedy SOB. What the hell do you want? What mattered most? Because when I needed you and I called you on the phone, you were always too busy to go somewhere or do something for me. But now, when it comes down to what you want out of my estate, you want this and this and this? No. So without being the one looking down and going, hey, you know what? Where's the love for me as a person versus what I owned? Get the arguments out of the way. Make those prenups. What about love makes you afraid? I'm going to adopt because I don't want any arguments. I don't want any, well, after we break up, he goes and finds this size 0 who can pop out those babies without a problem. And, he won't have to worry about the kid not being his because she has infertility problems like myself. So then, he can have his biological children because that's all that matters. Or maybe, it's because every man that you want to start a relationship finds some reason to walk away. And you know what? It's not all me. Because relationships are 50-50. So therefore, they shoulder 50% of that blame. So why, and I don't think that I'm afraid to fall in love. I'm just immune to love. There's people that are addicted to it, been married maybe 3 or 4 times. I am immune to it. Would you rather fall in love and lose that person or never fall in love at all? Speaking from experience, I would say never fall in love at all. Because then you're not going through the heartache, the going, why wasn't I good enough? Why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? You don't need to. Because why? Just don't fall. How long does it take a couple to work things out between them? Well, I'll tell you from experience, because I've had a lot of couples ask me for advice. That some of them never do work things out. Sometimes they end up splitting hairs, and that splits them up. The simplest of things. So what I'm going to say to that is, it all depends on how hard you want the relationship to work, because relationships are work. And if you don't have the time or put forth the effort, that relationship is stale and it ain't going to go nowhere. So that's what I always say. It depends on the couple's goals. If their eyes are on the same prize, then it's going to work. But if their one eye is over here looking at the hottie who's a size 0, who may hang out at a party with him, or over here at a size 6 who can have kids biologically, then, a man is always going to find a reason to cheat. What is your general opinion about married people cheating? My biological dad cheated on my biological mom. And what would I say about that? I would say it did damage my view of men and their loyalty, their dependability, their, accountability, definitely. And their urge to go, you know what? I was on a business meeting and one thing led to another, and I'm not in love with you, but I love you. What the heck is all that nonsense? It's like he's been watching a reverse of Dr. Phil. That was what my biological dad said to my mom, okay? So, she had to go through counseling after all that nonsense. And I think that, when we did the family counseling, it did not help. I think it hindered, and I think that it backfired, and that preacher, who was the preacher at the Free Methodist Church at that time here in Mattoon, never should have been a preacher. It's sad, but it's true. Are you faithful in a relationship? Absolutely. What the hell is the point of being in a relationship if you're not going to be faithful? Now, I won't say that the men are faithful, because obviously they have wandering eyes. Yes, it's true, they love the ladies. They can't deny the feeling the good Lord put down in their bones. They got wandering eyes. Oh, but don't you worry, baby. They say their heart always is at home. I know that's not how that line goes, but that's how I feel. Sorry, Ronnie McDowell, I ruined your song. Anyway, what are the major factors in a lasting relationship? Honesty, loyalty. When you get pushed to the limit and you can't take it no more, you step back and you go, I need a breather. You go take your breather, you come back, and you work things out. There's no yelling. There's no hitting. You may want to, and I may say sometimes that you need to hit them with a cast iron skillet, but that is me joking. But a love that is meant to be will find its way to be. I truly believe that in the deepest part of my heart. And I believe that for all of you out there, you will find your one and only. What if love makes the world go round, and what does lust do? I used to say that love did make the world go round. But honestly, I doubt that now. But what does lust do? I think it breaks up a lot of relationships. I think that when people are looking for a reason or an out, it's the easiest way. You know, that girl, I just seen her at the bar and had to be with her, you know. She's just there. She's everything that you're not. She's smaller than you. She doesn't talk. That was a plus because you talked my ear off. Or she doesn't have a YouTube channel, and that was a big turn on, you know. Or, let me think of another one here. I know I'm hitting them out of the ballpark. But men can think of a million reasons to cheat on a woman. But they can't find one reason to stay with a woman. Let's see here. What type of wedding ceremony and reception do you dream of? If, big if, marriage was ever to come my way, I have always longed for the 8-second wedding. Because I thought the outside wedding, the setting was perfect for Lane Frost and Kelly. It was just the dream be all and all. But at the same time, I would want kind of the inside church wedding, but maybe the reception held outside. So it was the best of both worlds. But, and I don't know if it'll ever happen at this point. I'm not saying that it will. I'm not saying it won't. I just don't know if it will ever happen. Would you feel comfortable about your man not wearing his wedding ring? You know, trust is a huge issue for me. And I know that there's instances where, well, take for instance my grandpa. He was lying on the couch. This is the God's honest truth. He lost his wedding ring, but he went out the same day that he lost it and bought another one at Walmart. It wasn't the most expensive. It was just a simple gold band. And it had a little diamond in it, and he still has it till this day, and he still wears it. And, you know, to me, it's a symbol that you're committed, that you love that woman more than any other woman that you could ever love on this face of this earth. And for that ring to leave his finger, honestly, I think that's disrespect. Just saying. What is the best and worst thing about starting a new relationship? Good gravy. Why are you asking me that question? I would have to say the best thing about starting a new relationship. You get all giddy when you get a text message or an email or, you know, even a voicemail, God forbid. They pick up the phone and reach out and dial someone, you know. Or the worst thing about it, oh, good gravy, you could say the wrong thing and not even know it, and bam, you're in the doghouse. One of the funniest things, I look back now and I can laugh, about number 2 was I called him number 1's name, and, you know, at the time he was been out of shape about it, and I didn't really understand why, you know. I mean, I spent 8.5 years with Mike. Surely Josh would understand why I said, you know, Mike instead of Josh. And I looking back now, there's no similarity in the two. But at the time, I was all panicked. Oh my gosh, I said the wrong thing. Said the wrong name. And he's hitting the ceiling. And, you know, now we laugh about it because we see that we are better off as friends than we ever were dating, which is true. And, you know, but I'm sure, you know, starting a new relationship is an uneasy time, and that's probably a lot of nerves more than anything else. Who is the most romantic couple you know in real life and movies and TV? In real life would have to be my grandparents. They had 72 wedded years of bliss. And we were at the Bill Anderson show the other night, and I wish I would have Instagrammed this moment. I was telling the lady next to us about how my grandparents had met. And I shared my grandma's version, at least the version I can remember that she told me, which Grandpa, he turned around and he argued with me and said, well, that was her romantic version, but that's not exactly how it happened. But I'll tell you guys. I think I've told this before. My great uncle, which was Otis Henson, buried out here at Dodge Grove Cemetery, he was in World War II with my grandpa. Now, my grandma says her picture fell out of his knapsack. And my grandpa said, oh, my land. Is that your girlfriend? Is that your wife? Your significant other? And he laughed. He said, that old picture, that old witch, or something to that effect. And my grandma said, or not my grandma, but my grandpa said, yes, she's so beautiful. And he says, is it your mom? And Otis laughed and he goes, no, 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 that's my ugly old sister. And then he gave him the address and they started writing back and forth, which was the first internet connection. And they did not save their letters from this time, but that's how they started talking. And he knew that the moment he got back in the States, he was going to come right here and marry my grandma. Grandpa's version is very different. And I don't remember his version. And I'll have to probably get him to YouTube that with me at one point. But it's definitely, they are the most romantic. In movies and TV, I would say the Chrisley family, the patriarch, Todd Chrisley and Julie Chrisley. I love watching their chemistry together. Ms. and Mrs. off of the USA Network. In June, well, we're in June. They say late summer they're going to have Dog the Bounty Hunter come back with Beth on WGN. I always thought that they had great magnetic chemistry. In movies, oh my goodness, 8 Seconds, Pure Country, Urban Cowboy. Although I never did like that no good for nothing one that tried to steal Bud from Sissy. Yeah, I got that right. I can't think of her name. It's escaping me. But there's a lot of women out there that are tramps. And anyway, just had to say that. But that movie, it's like, oh my God, country music history. And then, of course, we have my Hallmark movies. Unleashing Mr. Darcy. Ryan Pavey, you are my heartthrob. Mary and Mr. Darcy. And we need to continue that Darcy series, Hallmark Channel, just saying. Okay, next up. Please give your opinion on why so many marriages fall apart today. That's easy. When they hit a roadblock or the first problem, they want out. They look for the first available way out. And if that is another relationship or just a roll in the hay, they'll take it. If that is finding fault and wanting them to feel guilty over something that it's not really their fault. Take, for instance, their ovaries. Like they can't have biological children. So they run to the first available woman who has no problems. So I think that's why marriages don't last today. What is the most romantic weather? You know, they're walking in the rain, not like severe thunderstorm rain, but, just a pitter-patter where it's gently falling, and it's not cold, it's not hot, it's just perfect. It's 72 degrees outside. Or, if it's a nice sunny day and it's not cold, it's just a gentle breeze. That's a good day, too. What is the most... Okay, we did that. Do you like a peaceful or hectic life? I would love a peaceful life, but lately it's been very hectic. So, hopefully, after June 23rd, it slows down just a little bit. If an activity does not result in progress towards a goal, is it a waste of time? I think that if an activity towards a goal, it's not a waste of time. It's a learning experience. So, no, it's not a waste of time. What makes you blush? What makes me blush? It's been a long time since I've blushed. I would have to say my romance novels. Sometimes, which I'm reading Unbroken Cowboy by Maisie Yates. And I just got to say, it's been a page turner. Just one day, that's how much I've read of this book. Okay? I'm about done. And it's been one of those I really don't want to put down. But it's like, whew, you have that much burning love, and it just burns the pages. So sometimes it's hard for me to go, wow, that actually exists in real life, because a man just doesn't walk away at the first sign of trouble, or say she causes too much trouble, or says she talks too much, or finds some little nitpicking reason wrong. And this guy, he treated her like a child. And she, in the book so far, thinks that he doesn't see her, as an equal. But yet he's always been there to help her out. And now she's starting to see that maybe he does see me as an equal. And one thing has led to another. They've had 2 wonderful, hot, steamy scenes. And let me just tell you, it's not been that bad of a book to read. It's probably going to get a 10, just saying. But I haven't got a book report done because I'm not done yet. What is something you believed in for a long time that you do not believe anymore? I would have to say, for the longest time, I believed that I was going to have my Hallmark movie ending. That I was going to have my Harley Quinn movie ending. But yours truly is getting closer and closer to that big adoption day. And I can't wait. And honestly, I'm ready to give up on love and just focus on that. So it's not that far off in the future. And the day is almost here. So I'm going to be overfilled with joy. Do you think helmets should be mandatory for motorcycles, bicycles, for kids or adults? I think mandatory across the board. There's too many of these kids. We were coming home the other night from going out to eat. A boy was on his bike about 8:30. Now at 8:30 at night, it's starting to get dark, okay? There was not one light on that bike, not one reflector. And what was that boy doing? Texting. I had to swerve not to hit this child. I wanted to stop and give him the rules of the road regulation book, let alone take that cell phone from him and throw it and break it. So what I'm going to tell you, kids, especially when you're on a bike, you do not need to look down and do this and not have a helmet on, with no light on that bike, no reflectors, because you are being your own worst enemy. Okay? So, with that being said, I'll see you again tomorrow night. God bless.